there's so many players on both sides of the board here who could really influence the outcome of this one. We'll see whether, or who it is rather, because it will be somebody, that much is for sure. I mean, we've just seen players having huge impacts on the outcome of the game in that last one between Liquid and CAG, and we all know what happened there. Not the same sort of upset on the line here.
Oh, no, because I think the gap between the two teams is far smaller.
Yes.
You wouldn't be like, oh, Secret won if they did win this.
And just, neither of them can get eliminated.
Yes.
You know, a little bit of a... It's much like yesterday where I said we have these like different approaches. Like Liquid have gone in there, everything on the line, try and get it done today, get it locked out, and then you've got like Secret, M80 playing a little bit of a slower, a longer game.
Yeah, and they've both got their extended mag cards as well, which they'll roll out tomorrow, no doubt. In this game, it's a little bit safer, probably because you're waiting for tomorrow to see who your opponent is going to be. Of course, we dwindle ourselves down by the end of today. There are far fewer teams going to be sat around that draw room later on today because 4 will also qualify, 4 will be eliminated, meaning there will be 12 to do the dance of death with Milos in the draw room after the conclusion of today's games. Here we go, though, Team Clubhouse. They set themselves on the desk. It is a classic. We've got cast it quite a few times so far at the tournament. Always love seeing a bit of club.
Yeah, it's always good. Like Nave said, you know, it's a map where you go and find out who's really best because there's no excuses in terms of strats, in terms of frequency that you play. You know, this has been around for a long time. Everybody knows what they're doing on Clubhouse, so we expect nothing less than the best out of these two teams. We're going to get into it. Bans are there. Monty and Blitz for M80 and Kaid and Bandit for Secret. So both going with those complementary strategies there of taking two operators out of the same sort of mini pool, if you will. So 2 of the shield operators, 2 of the denial operators. We should have walls getting open very quickly. We should have a little bit of aggression.
Should. That's what we expect. Nothing else, it's more about how the teams play this one out. They are quite stable bans, as you say, so I think both teams will be quite used to seeing these Tyler bans coming out now. We spoke about it in our previous match, and also on previous maps that we've seen overall across the last few days. There's been quite a variety in what gets banned away, sometimes being target bans, some being very safe, standard, staple bans. No, one thing's very much for sure, the same as Kangaroo Kenny said when I spoke to him, we're going to see a lot of evolution of these bans over the rest of this year. And as all the IGLs said, it's very, very refreshing. It brings a whole new dynamic to maps and sometimes makes them play out totally different, as we saw on Bank yesterday with double hard breach bans. You can't open up the double wall at the end of White Corridor. It adds for some really exciting pieces to the game. Gunnar and Hot and Cold both roaming around that top floor, just looking to get a little bit of action on the entry here. Secret are going to have to deal with that. They are stacked up in order to do so. We've got Adrian ready to go in, Dockerby Cole ringing out, drones at their feet. This is good stuff from Secret. They know exactly what they're going into, and M80 feeling the pressure, and they're going to dip away. Yeah, very much trying to keep themselves safe here. I mean, Adrian was the one holding around in the Grim to pick them out as they work their way down through storage, but both have made it. Mowgli kind of went chasing and realises now, while no one's hanging around, to say that Hot and Cold has overstayed his welcome a bit here, hoping to challenge onto Adrian, and Mowgli has just taken his life for free.
He's got caught out completely unawares there, just wasn't even ready for the fight whatsoever. Also, the one off in stock, Diffuser could be in a little bit of a problem. He's got the hatch open, so the option to drop back, but that's how you deal with the problem. Takes the head off Mowgli's shoulders, Gaveni finds Savage elsewhere, and all of a sudden, M80 go from man down to a man advantage.
It's really funny, actually. I was looking at June then when he jumped onto his cams for a second, and I thought, okay, well, he's got a phone call here, and they've got 2 challenges waiting to happen around the map. That phone call will be a real good time to come out now and make use of it, and it feels a little bit too late to bring this one out, I'm afraid. Sure, it'll get June this kill here, but they could have had 2 players still on side had they used it that little bit sooner. 3 versus 3, and 60 seconds to play. Gaveni still looking to cause some bother here up on this top floor.
Noah moving across, looking to find his man, but Gaveni sees him coming, can't find the shots though. Noah takes him down, and once again, this one just flip-flops back and forward. Des, team in the advantage, and then the next minute they are on the back foot.
Great
as M80 find themselves now. Noah with a big double. Diffuser and Gaveni and Gunnar taken out.
Kino.
Now is all up to Kino.
2 smokes in back pocket here with only 20 seconds on the clock. He could actually just lock this out and force a lot of struggle. A little bit too late, I'm afraid, there. If it had come out a few seconds prior, it could have been real danger for the attackers of Secret, but they were there a bit too quick for his liking, and a very comfortable closeout from them. Really interesting round, because M80 M80 have looked to challenge them around the map there, but Secret have dealt, even with that losing 2K that they had earlier on, they've responded well, they've used the Dockerby call, they've got the third cleanup onto Diffuser, and then had that 2v1 inside a kitchen. Really good team play from both sides so far.
Great tournament from Noah continues in a big triple at the end of that one to really turn things around, because up to that point it was looking like it could be a difficult round for Secret, but picking up a beautiful long shot there on Kino as well, knowing that he was very possibly going to be strafing across that doorway. Team Secret get themselves the first round, and the rotation continues. M80 not going to go back down to the basement, they will instead head to the gym and bedroom.
Remember, one fresh analyst is really passionate about Tier 2. You'll always find in co-streaming or at least following along with what's going on in Tier 2 and Tier 3 competitions. And I remember when Noah first served his head in Tier 1, and I hadn't really been paying attention, job outside of this, didn't really have time to focus on it. I remember saying to him, who is this Noah guy? Like, everyone's really bigging him up. And he's like, you've not heard of Noah? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, he's like Baby Shoko. I was like, that is a very, very high accolade to put on someone. He wouldn't quite go as far as saying he was going to be the next Shoko, but he was like, this kid's really got something special about him. And truthfully, for the first year or so that we saw him floating around in Tier 1, he struggled to reach the highs that we've seen him achieving in Tier 2, but I think at this tournament, as you say, Tim, he's performed to such a great standard that he's really showing what his capabilities are and what he can do, and I really hope it continues.
Doom going to be straight into the building on the Deimos, looking to cut off that potential rotation. Wall is going to be opened for CCTV. It is the gym and bedroom site, of course. So Secret are going to be looking to get in. Diffuser and Gaveni are the ones that are holding Top Red and Cash at the minute. They're going to find themselves, I would imagine, getting disrupted at some point. They're going to be pushed and pressured. Also got the IQ of Adrian doing the work here, making sure to find those black eye cameras, take away as much intel as possible from M80.
It's all about this dance out towards the east, isn't it? This Cash CC extension to waste as much time as possible. You can see, we've seen some really cool set-piece plays from teams to execute the 2 or 3 players that are out on the roam, not give them any chance to recover. But really, it's about seeing when that trap gets sprung by Secret, are M80 able to recover and get themselves out safely? The fact that you've got Gaveni out here is a pretty good nod towards, yes, you can make use of those keeper barriers to cover your retreat off, but a bit of a problem here, Tim, in that they've already lost a player on site. So there's only now Kino currently actually sat on site itself, and I doubt we're going to see anyone hit the site in isolation, but with 2 kills coming in already, this is looking like another good round for Secret. Hot and cold picked off from below. He can barely do anything in this game so far, leaving just Gaveni and Diffuser to hold down. Kino giving a bit of support inside of construction too, but it's looking wobbly for M80.
Mowgli doing some great work on the book underneath there, just pressuring that position, and it should start freeing up a little bit of ground here. And as you can see, with the pressure mounting, M80 need to move, they need to relocate, they need to take risks, and Noah is there, arms wide open, waiting to just take that opportunity. Gaveni's somehow managing to find a beautiful pistol shot onto Savage, but it's going to be all he does in this round, as who else is there to mop up once again? It's Noah, and Kino is going to be left all alone. 1v4. We saw how it went last time.
I was about to say, last round it was a 1v3, now it's a 1v4. As if the 3 last time wasn't hard enough to face off against, he's got to deal with all the force of Secret, except for Savage, bearing down on him. Has tried to isolate out a 1v1 and has been successful, but now they know exactly where he is. Doom had a drone at his feet. They know everything Kino's doing, but he's found a second here, Tim. Adrian has got to win this, and Doom's joining up to go in for the fight at the same time. Between them both, a little bit of tag damage up to Kino, and Adrian finds him through the smoke. Secret up 2-0. M80, Tim, not looking so hot.
Well, the problem is M80, of course, on defense. You would expect them to be coming out and looking at a 4-2 half, possibly. Secret have already done what they need to do here on attack, getting 2 solid rounds in the bag, and there's still 4 to go. There's a good chance that Secret come out ahead after this first half. It's not to say that we don't see an attacker-sided clubhouse, but I would be liking Secret to get on the defense and grab at least 2 or 3 rounds here, so they're not far away from what they need to get on the attack.
It's always that story that we speak about, is the 2 halves to a game of Siege, right? What happens when we flick over to the other side and it's Secret who are on the defense? You'd expect to see them being successful. That one, the one in the chamber, by the way, I loved it. I was like, yes, that's what you want to see. Only takes the 1 shot to at least stop the aggressor, but Secret, as mentioned, have moved with force. They pulled off that set-piece play and have collapsed onto M80. Still, as things start out, Secret are looking good. Curious to see if that continues into that second half, but at least here, Tim, M80 could win 4 rounds on the back here. Yeah, Secret would feel a bit bruised for it, but they'll be happy, I think, walking away with how they've played so far.
Yeah, it's not been. It's certainly not been terrible by any means. The problem is for them that Secret are coming in and winning these rounds. You know, there was some great play. Mulder on the book I picked up. You know, really took away those safe positions from M80. Wouldn't allow them to play anywhere in cash or CCTV, and ultimately just put them in really bad spots. Managed to get a kill directly himself from underneath. Just really, really great play. Really great use of that utility. Secret drawn in well. You see a number of occasions there. They're drawn just right ahead of them, right at their feet. Ready to go, ready to make an impact on that intel that's coming their way.
You might look at this and think, well, attack timeout after you've had a disastrous start would be the play, but let's not forget as well, we get ourselves into a brief pause of the ban in the next round. Teams come in knowing what it is they want to ban away and when, so it gives the team, of course not Fabian, a chance to step in, but the team themselves can talk about what's going wrong and try and fix those problems rather than talking about, oh, what should we ban away here, guys? I imagine they've already got in their mind what's causing a problem for them and what should be taken offline.
Doom just moving around the corner, the silhouette that we can see, he cannot. No idea that he's got one on main. Maybe he hears the footsteps though, as the steps are taken by Diffuser to just have a little look around the corner. We've got a stalemate brewing here, but ultimately...
Doom shouldn't die here. You're on the Capitale, you've got all the smokes, you've got the fire, you've got everything your team needed to make this happen, including those EMPs to deal with the mute. If he dies here, this is catastrophic for his team.
Yeah, it really is, and the thing is M80 can just wait it out. I was just saying how good the drawn in has been. They completely missed Gunner, picks up a freebie onto Savage, Diffuser swings Doom, and just like that, the round crumbles, and M80 are looking good for round 3.
You've lost arguably the two operators you can't afford to lose. The Ying and the Capitale gone. That is disaster territory for them. They can start trying to pull something together here, Tim, when you haven't got 5 players to execute downstairs. It's going to feel very, very thin and very, very weak. M80 should be able to hold on.
3 Selma's going to be deployed on that Church wall. It's going to make Church completely unplayable. Once the Twitch gets the mute jammer, which it does, you can send your impact nades out, but the point is the line of sight is there, so you can no longer play safely in that area. See the smoke canisters coming out there from Diffuser. 3 versus 5. M80 still have the numbers, but Secret are starting to take away some of the ground that they can use.
And they can see them all here. It's a case of trying to get through these keeper barriers, of course. DMR's pretty good for it. Rifles, not so much. Put at least half a mag into it to make that start moving. Another smoke coming out here as we've got about 30 seconds left to play. Noah finding one. Can they clutch this out, Tim?
Oh, they're just going to be seeking around the corner against the down. 3 versus 3. They are holding on though, M80. Hot and cold, Gaveni find one apiece. It's all up to Mowgli. Hello? He's off to your right. You see him, Mowgli. You see him. Hot and cold's going to shut him down. We've all had those moments. We've all had them, Des. Just doesn't register in that second.
Oh. It could have brought it down to a 1v1, and that would have been very exciting to see how things play out with the mirror being sat behind that mirror window. But Secret almost clawing that one back, and M80 definitely not with the most successful end to that round, but it's a round nonetheless. They finally get themselves on the board, 2-1 to Secret.
A good attempt there at the end. I'm 99. I'm thinking back. I'm 99% certain the Twitch had taken the glass out of that mirror window. Yeah. At that point.
That's what I mean. They could see.
I saw the one at the end, and I'm like, but no, that was the one that was looking into side.
Yeah, the thing about that they would be trying to adapt right now, and it's good for us as well. I think we can play a little bit more for the mid rounds too late. For example, we are taking the map.
Have we killed a single of the drones that we know that they're placing? There's one main door every single round. There's one in strip every single round.
I killed their garage ones.
Yeah. Have we killed the one in main door every single round? I'm really afraid that Sean will get killed the last round in main door because they every single round put the drone there. We need to remember the prep we have on them, relax, because that's where I think we're going wrong right now. Okay. The first 2 rounds, we played solo because we're stressed. 5 deep strats, reset, and start over. You guys have the game plan. I don't need a timeout. Come on, guys.
He always says the right words. It's so lovely to hear, isn't it? He said the same thing yesterday. 5 deep breaths every round, reset, calm it down, go in fresh.
Yeah, absolutely that. It's talking about that prep as well. You know, we know where the drones are going to be. We know where they pre-placed them. They've got all that down, and they just need to make sure that they're using that knowledge and intel. Gunnar got away with one there. We saw the drone go through. They just didn't check the corner. It's always difficult in Siege. You know, there's a lot of areas to be checking, to be looking at, but you've got to make sure that you are checking those corners.
I love how they've gone for an ace ban. You look at that and think, one hard breach ban when there's 3 like Hibana's available? Like, why not ban her? It's because Noah has been absolutely frying so far on the ace. 7 kills across those 3 rounds. They don't want any more of that funny business.
Great
Off
goal.
the table,
Great, you know,
taken away.
This brings a lot more than just the breach.
Totally. The frustration behind that
10
definitely
seconds remaining.
seeping into the M80 side. Fabian hoping to get a bit of a reset on here. Again, they've got a game plan, they've done the prep, they know what they need to be doing. Just haven't quite shown it in those first 2 or 3 rounds. Round 3 definitely more successful than the prior 2. Cash EC we head into Tim here for round 4, get our 3-site rotation reset. And we've got them very much dug in setup coming in towards Catwalk here with the Jaeger and the Wamai on side.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to watch, see whether the attackers will play into that Catwalk setup or do they just work and pressure elsewhere. Given that they've started opening up lower garage straight away with the hard breach gadgets, you'd expect that they are going to look to get in there and control it. You can win this site without taking Catwalk, but it means pushing from the other side. You need to take control of bedroom, move across, open up construction. Even then, it can be tough. That's how powerful a position Catwalk is. Savage is going to open up that jacuzzi wall, so it's at least just giving the option to apply a bit of pressure over there. Whether Secret will put any numbers on that side of the map, we'll see as we go, because they're also opening CCTV. I like this though, giving themselves options. There's
Always say about this site, you need to control 2 of east, south, or west. Once you've got 2 of them, you can probably pull off an execute. You see teams often stack everyone inside of construction and plant just inside the double wall, or you get Catwalk and you're planting behind default in B, right? You've got options to play with. And where they put their focus and their resources here really should be speaking to M80 about what's going to happen. Where are the drones set up right now? We've got 2 or 3 of them being set up in bedroom. Very fair chance there's going to be a construction here. They're putting a lot of pressure in towards garage. We're opening up walls in there. If we've got a Monty on the door, for example, of course, not going to have it here. Maybe it could be a Blackbeard. Then it shows they're coming in for Catwalk instead. It's just about realizing what the game plan is of Secret and responding in kind and being ready for that hit.
Is just going to be taking this quick peek around the corner. Doesn't want to over-challenge it, doesn't really need to. On the defense, let's not forget, it's more important to keep himself alive and burn that time. That's one of the really key functions of your roamers. If they get a kill, fantastic, but he's still alive. We're a minute 50 in, and Secret, they don't really have a lot of what they need necessarily to get this done, but they are starting to move now. Noah manager to pick up Kino. They've got the construction wall open, so like I said, they've given themselves options, and they're playing into the one that says, do you know what? We don't need to go near all those Jaeger and Wamai gadgets in garage. We're just going to push from construction and we'll try to plant on the wall.
Can't ban out Noah, can you? He's just having one of those days. No matter what operator you put him on, he's going to find a way to cook, and he's done just that. Kino being taken offline. It does mean one of those C4s is removed from the team as well. The second one has just been used. There is no C4 left to deny Secret here, but we are down to this last 30 seconds, and they've got to make the hit about now.
One starts going down. Savage, he's underway. June manages to pick up Gunner 3 versus 3, but Hot and Cold is there with the trade. Can Savage stick it? Yes, he can. Now trying to hold back from inside the bedroom. It's a Savage triple! Talk about Savage! He's just gone through them for fun!
We said it before the game, is it the day where Savage pops, and it's been the Noah story so far, but to get the diffuser down, turn on a dime and kill off 3 just shows all you need to know. Secret in full command here on the attack of Clubhouse. M80, Tim, looking a little bit like L80 right now, can't find a way into this game.
Savage from you there, Des.
It's true.
Like he's really struggling though, especially on the defence, Des. I keep coming back to it, but you've got to be winning these defences on Clubhouse. You know exactly what attacks are coming. You can set yourself up. That's basically what Fabian said. We know what they're going to do. We've got the prep. We know where the drones are going to be. We've got to be more ready for this. But Secret just having answers every single round so far. Really nice finish from Savage at the end there. You had a little bit of a quiet day. I think it was yesterday that we saw him play a little bit quiet compared to day 1 and 2, but coming back with a bit of a vengeance there. Great play for him. Like I said, that all early opens up the jacuzzi wall. They apply a little bit of phantom pressure from CCTV wall by opening it with the Hibana, but then ultimately get themselves well established inside of Master, inside of construction, get the job done. Loving what I'm seeing from Secret. Great stuff from them. Let's not forget, Secret have only lost the Courier so far.
Yep.
They're having a good tournament.
They are.
The siege that they are playing is really good.
They just lost when it really mattered because the bullets are obviously down where they are. Again, they're relying so much on tomorrow being a big day for them. They'll come out with the extended mag. They'll only go up to 7 here, so they will be quite low down in the table as things stand. Not forgetting again that those below them get eliminated. You're almost riding on other teams not being able to get above 7 here, so you still stay in the tournament. It'd be awful for them to get eliminated because they haven't put up enough bullets today.
Well, you know, playing the format is part of the game as well, and they've come in, they've only reloaded 1 bullet on day 1, 1 bullet on day 2, and those are where they've got their wins. If they'd have gone 2 on each day, then they'd have had a few more now. You know, they've lost against Furia what they gained in day 1 and 2, so that's why we see them at their starting point. Guaranteeing that they're going to get through to tomorrow by only reloading 1 now, it leaves them with that extended mag and a big risk, really, because tomorrow is the roll of the dice. They've got to win it.
C4 comes out, doesn't catch Doom, and almost I thought Savage was definitely dead to rights. He was placing the exothermic on the wall, has now done so, but it's jammed out by the jammer. Got to put it in the top corner, I'm afraid, buddy. You can't put it down too low. Again, that jammer gives a nice spherical defense to their field there to block away any electronic gadgets nearby. A little bit higher, and it's got the job done. Yes, you can't run him through it, but you should be able to vault over that.
Just makes it a little bit difficult, doesn't it, for that sort of direct, quick entry. But we don't see too much of that at a pro level, to be honest. Jacuzzi wall does get open, but it's not necessarily a case of then using that as your ingress point. We far more commonly, I'd say, see them going in through gym window, for example, once they've got control of CCTV, which, interestingly, Secret aren't really playing for at the minute. They're quite happy to leave Goveni and Hot and Cold out there just to sit and wait. But the problem with that is it means they can't use the south-sided windows. Noah is now getting to a point, needs to win these fights along with Mowgli. Does so. They pick up both. Goveni gets Savage in the middle of it, but that is big from Secret. They waited almost 2 minutes into the round to push that side of the map, but when they have done, Mowgli, Noah, Adrian have cleared it beautifully.
It just feels like Secret are always one step ahead here. They're lining themselves up now on the south balcony. 2 players going through, 2 into construction, ready for their execute. I imagine Tim, they're thinking about the kills here rather than trying to risk a plant. Well, they're saying that. Noah could try and get in towards Jim here and get away with it. I think Kino's the only one nearby who can stop him. Sure enough, he's in and looking for a plant on the single wall that we're used to. But Kino stepped out and found one. Mowgli's there for the trade. Gonna get in at least one back in response. It's a 2 versus 1. Gonna running through. Adrian had to win that, but Noah pulled off the plant. Sometimes you look at that moment and think, no, hold F, but he's come off and forced a 2v1. Secret with, again, great team play to close out the round.
Secret just looked really comfortable. Obviously, as a team, smiling, happy, you know, playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of energy today. And M80, they really are on the receiving end of it. Secret look great here. You know, if you ask me, out of all the teams I've covered, who looks like they could win this thing, who's playing well enough to go through and win those big matches, I'd certainly put Secret in that bracket at the minute. Like I say, 1 game lost against Furia, but it was 7-4. It was still a close affair. They played well, and then they've beaten Loud, they've beaten Liquid. They've not, you know, played easy teams here. They've done really, really well so far.
At least in talking about European teams. I said it about BDS.
They're the best of Europe that I've said.
About BDS and Secret, I've said the same thing where they've made a couple of changes. And for me, the risk in this team was Mowgli coming in. He's been on walls for the longest time. And on that team, Mowgli was often the guy. He reminded me a lot of Nuas, as I said before, on Oxygen, where he'd often be the player, charging forward, really strong on the entry, great with his kills, but would be so far ahead of his team that he would just cost them needless deaths. And he would always get traded on the entry. It would always be a problem. They didn't manage to retain the space that he made for his team. And I said that if we could see Secret, if we could see Twister work this team together and say, right, let's play things a bit more tight here, work as a team and as a unit, things will start to shine. And I think having Noah and Mowgli being the entry for this team right now, it's looking like one of the strongest entry duos that we have got at the tournament.
Noah's currently sat just over 200 on his EPS, Des.
Nice.
Obviously, there's time for that to change as we go on. But as it stands, after 5 rounds, he's at 200. Look at this aggression as well. Secret just dropping straight on in, wanting to catch any roamers out. Look at them go. The Blackbeard chasing them down. They're going to get the kills. Of course they are. Noah, Mowgli, take out Gunnar and Hot and Cold, and that is rapid from Team Secret. Within 45 seconds, they've got 2 kills, and so far, every round of this game has gone in favor of the entry kill. That is the 5th round that Team Secret have that entry kill. Will it be the 5th round that they put on the board?
It feels like it should be, Tim. In a 5 versus 3, they haven't let these maladvantage situations slip away from them yet. And they've still got so much time to work with. 2 minutes on the clock. You're basically playing the round from scratch in a default 5 versus 3. Normally you'd say GG in this kind of scenario. Known as a Blackbeard bearing down on you. Doom on main stairs here. Kino's got no choice but to back away in towards side, and it's feeling miserable. Diffuser also falling by the wayside. Noah is taking no prisoners today.
No, this is ridiculous from Noah. It's absolutely unstoppable.
I did not expect a performance like this. Again, many lengths towards M80.
You'd almost call it a live game, but it's not because he does it game after game after game at the minute.
He's like our 5th highest rated player at the tournament so far.
This is what I mean. He's just, you know, the consistency is crazy as well. His team can just, you know, have that confidence to rely on him. Doom's going to take a little bit of damage from Kino there, but we've seen Kino left all alone down in the basement before. This time he's got Gaveni with him, but I fear for M80, Des, that the outcome is likely to be the same.
They lose here, Tim. Let's not forget, they could get eliminated come the end of today. If teams below them manage to jump up a little bit, this could get real scary. Almost kind of saved in a way that Liquid and Scars have gone home before them, and it may be teams below them getting knocked out ahead of them, but it's certainly not guaranteed. It's going to make for a very, very tense affair when we see how things stack up by the end of the day. Still in this 5 versus 2, Secret, it feels victory is all but inevitable.
Kino just roaming around, seeing if he can find anybody at the bottom of main stairs, but won't be able to connect. Pressure mounting. Gaveni stands up well though, manages to pick up an important kill onto Noah, but it's not going to be enough as he gets himself down. Savage and Adrian are there for 1 apiece, and that's going to be Team Secret 5-1, and currently steamrolling the North Americans.
I so often say there's 2 halves to a game of Siege, Tim, and maybe, just maybe, M80 shows some real attacking prowess here, but it is looking
We're back
rough.
against the wall.
Here we are.
It's up to us how we deal with that. I think that so far, we have kind of been observers in our own game. We've just kind of sat back, let our things happen to us. Very little team play. The only people that can change that around is the fucking 5 of you. I can't do anything from here. You know exactly what they're gonna do. Sort that out. Go together, talk. Like, the energy is dead graveyard right now.
Yeah.
Because we're fucking shitting our pants. We're nervous. What do we have to lose?
Nothing.
Yeah, we have fucking everything to
Or just-
gain. 6 rounds, get ourselves back into this shit, actually make the main stage. That would be fucking nice. This is now or never.
Yeah, let's go, boys.
A tough loss for M80 to take. If it does happen, it will put them down onto 4 bullets. And it starts, you know, putting those big question marks up, basically like Fabian has said there, as to whether they then get onto the main stage or not. You know, we saw them have some adversity against Falcons yesterday. Falcons, they were way ahead, and Falcons had a really good run back at them. But they were able to turn it around, show some resilience, lock it down. That's exactly the spirit that they need right now, because Secret are running away with this. And if M80 don't do something quickly, the only concern I have for M80 is sometimes we just see these games where there's nothing they can do about it, because whatever they try, Noah.
Just take the first 2 letters of his name.
Yes.
No.
Exactly.
Just no. I mean, what I always love is hearing into that tap time that we had earlier, and then also at that halfway mark too. You kind of get an insight into the team, the dynamic, and the energy. Even when Fabian's calling for the energy, it's still relatively muted responses, right? And I've long said for ages now, the reason why big teams sometimes collapse when they're needed most is you wake up on a given day and your energy can just be a little bit off. Maybe you had a bit of a rough sleep, for example. Maybe something's happened that morning that's thrown you off. And the smallest dip in communication, the drop in energy can be enough that you lose a big game like this. And it's why, for the longest time, during a very, very dominant period, you see Brazilian teams winning everything and screaming the house down before a game, during a game, after a game. The energy was always high. You had no time to feel low or feel particularly flat, but for M80, that is exactly how it looks right now. Of course, we don't hear their comms during a round, but it does feel like they're standing there and waiting to be beaten. As Fabian said, an observer in their own game, and it continues. They've tried for a 2 versus 1 play there and still lost out.
Observe that. Observe Doom taking down your Deimos. That is a huge loss of utility for M80. It's going to make it much more difficult for them to chase down anybody of Secret who decides to stay out in the map. Doom, right now, gets aggressive on main door again. Just deals with them too easily. They were talking about the droning of Secret. Where's M80's droning? Where's M80's droning? Iana just walking on in there into the waiting arms of Doom. It's the freest kill he's going to have all day. 5 versus 3, and M80 have nobody else to blame but themselves.
7 drones out in the field as well, Tim. You haven't really got an excuse, as you say, for a lack of information or drones here to make use of. And Doom, a player that, again, we'll touch on, has had a really rough tournament so far.
He just dropped a hatch 10 feet away from there.
Yeah. It just makes it look a bit easy. Doom, at least so far in this round, marching through a couple of players. A 5 versus 3. We've been here before, Tim. M80 are going to try and make this work. They're focusing on Dirt and they're focusing on Kitchen for an execute, but I think Secret are going to have something to say about that, Tim. 2 or 3 players now all squaring up onto that doorway, giving nothing over.
Well, this is the beauty for Secret. They've wasted a minute 45 before M80 are coming towards site, and guess what they've got now? A load of Goyo canisters to play behind, so they're going to waste even more time, and the situation just gets more and more dire for M80. 3 versus 5 is bad enough on its own. 3 versus 5 with 20 seconds left to go before you can push it is going to be an even bigger problem, so they really need to aggress forward here and take the bull by the horns, get a couple of kills.
Savage down to a single bullet of HP. Firebolt coming on through, but not finding the man. They're trying to take him out as best they can. And sure enough, Adrian's gone. A second one follows. They're pushing as a team, Tim. They're down to a 2 versus 2, and Mowgli and Savage have barely got any HP to speak with here. But here we go. It's Mowgli off to the side and finds one. Stuck in here against the shield. Who comes out on top? Of course, it's going to be Mowgli. Kino put in the dirt. 6-1 to Secret.
What a shot onto the blitz from Mowgli there. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Secret a little bit rattled in the middle of the round there when the pressure started mounting from M80, but they dug their heels in and showed they've got that resilience too. Locked out the round. Beautiful stuff from Secret. M80, they did the right thing. They hit the button. They had the aggression in the mid-round, and they really started doing it. I was worried they were going to leave it too long. Like I said, 3 versus 5 is tough. 3 versus 5 with 20 seconds is even worse. They didn't do that. They went in and gave themselves time, gave themselves an opportunity, and they found the kills as well. But it just wasn't enough against what is looking like a great Secret team today.
Looking hard to beat, and as I said, it starts to worry a bit for M80. At least as things stand, it's not the end of the world. There are teams that currently sit below them on the number of bullets, and I believe only one team could possibly be eliminated as it stands, based on number of bullets, because we have to see at least 4 teams going home. 3 have already been sent, and they've currently got FaZe, SSG, G2, BDS all sat below them. In fact, BDS will be above them after this game. So there are potentially 3 teams here that if they don't have things go their way today, or even if they do, could still see themselves going ahead or even home ahead of M80. We get a Raura show at least here, Tim. That's something from Diffuser.
Yeah, Raura is going to be brought on. For any of you that haven't seen her, she can apply panels, sort of similar to Castle Barricades. Can apply them at range to doors only, and they will close all the way down to the ground. They will lift up a little bit if a drone wants to go through. They're very generous like that. They'll let the drones through. But they are activated by a panel up at the top. You've got to be close enough to it. It's proximity based, so once you're close enough as an attacker or a defender, you can shoot that target, it'll open the panel. But the main use of Raura is to create space, cut off rotations, and give yourself a little bit of safety, an area that you can work in, that you can build into, prevent that line of sight for the defenders.
Speaking of line of defense here, Tim, it's exactly what they've got. You might have got rid of the jacuzzi wall itself, but there is another wall reinforced waiting for you. We've got the angle from Jim being crossed off, so that's got to be dealt with its way. He's got Giovanni on side, but he is out of impacts here. Not even able to step inside and blow this out because Doom is sat defending inside of Jim. So still a number of puzzles here for M80 to work their way through. Secret just stalling them out a little bit.
Going to be pushing up the main stairs here. The aggression is coming. This is better from M80.
Sure,
Kino manages to take down Adrian. Losing Diffuser wasn't ideal. And up he steps again. I said, Des, you can do whatever you want sometimes. And Secret will just say no. He comes in, gets a big double, and again flips the round. M80, we're building good momentum up the main stairs. But it just isn't enough as the Warden comes around the corner. The perfect op to go against the Blitz. Finds 2 kills, and it's 3 versus 2.
It's just unforgivable though, Tim. How can they get that so wrong? They had the advantage. They had the flash on the player on half stairs. Miscommunication galore. The second player that was in behind the Blitz had no idea what was going on. Still managed to get a kill, but both got completely sideswiped by Secret after that. Surely they hold on here. 2 C4s to play behind. This is theirs for the taking.
Giovanni at the minute has managed to get himself inside a shower. He's just going to hold his position and hope for a rotate. Coming up main stairs, hot and cold, gets caught out. They hear him coming. Doom goes down at the same time, but it leaves Giovanni 1v2. Diffuser down on main stairs. It's not looking good. He uses the environmental ingredient in front of him, the fire extinguisher, to pop the smoke, to give him some cover. It's not enough. He was trying to bait them out. And who else? Noah is going to close it out in an emphatic Team Secret win, 7-1.
It might only be 1 bullet for Secret. It puts them up to 7. but it sets them up well for tomorrow. For M80, they career down the standings here, Tim, down towards that death zone at the bottom. But most importantly for Secret, such a fantastic performance. No, we can chat about all day. 15 kills to his name, but for me, it was the micro plays throughout, the constant 2v1s, even at the end then. A 3-2-1 countdown, we swing together, we punish Gaveni. Every step of the way, M80 were met with absolute resistance from this team. Great play, and I'm sure we're going to see more from both sides as we press on.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So Team Secret were absolutely electric.
All right, break is ready. Let's go through when we come back. The desk will break it down for you.
What a great score for you, Team Secret. But you know what I want to hear from you right now? Why is Secret playing so conservative in reload? You guys are not reloading that many bullets. You also didn't use the extended mag card yet. You keep it for tomorrow. What is the strategy behind it?
The strategy is we don't know the format. So at the beginning, it was like very hard, you know, like for example, Falcons, they know the format, they just bet, and if they lose, they pick first. If they win, they're on the top. For us, it wasn't the same. Like we bet small because we're playing good teams, you know, and now we're on this position, like we have to beat good teams, and tomorrow it's going to be the same, you know. We're going to bet a lot, but it's going to be a good team, so it's do or die. So there is no strategy, it's just about we are playing good teams, you know.
Yeah, but now seeing the results, back then, would you like to come back in time and just reload as many bullets as you could? Now, you were doing really great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why M80 picked Club, to be honest. They are terrible on it. And like, it's our home, you know, like we are so good on it. And for example, like you said, we put 5 attacks. So
Yeah.
after this, it was an easy game for us.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Club, it's a more defense map, and you guys somehow managed to get a lot of attacks round. So I guess that made easier for you, right?
Yeah, I'm here to revenge my friends on Falcons, you know. They lost yesterday against them. They are my friends. And now, you know, it's Club, it's our home. We know how they play, you know, they just want to flank us, you know. So we just wait like this. One is coming, okay, 5v4. Another one is coming, okay, 5v3, you know. It was very easy to me.
Just waiting them to put on their faces on your aim and just shoot. Okay, fair. Now you guys have the rest of the day to, you know, just chill or practice. What are you guys doing?
I think we're going to study the format again. Maybe we're going to find a new rule, we don't know. We're going to do all the mathematics stuff, you know, to see how many we have to bet, if we have to all in, you know, this kind of stuff. And after maybe we go to the pool, I don't know. Have a good time, because maybe we are out tomorrow, we don't know.
Yeah, I just think that you need to use the extended mag tomorrow. I think. Well, let's see. Let's see. But go to.
We have to, obviously, but it's more about which team are we gonna pick, you know, because we need to see the end of the day to see the result.
Draft show.
Yeah, and we will see.
Are you like? I don't know how to say this in English, but thinking, who it's going to choose us? Are you afraid of the team that it's going to choose you?
No, like we are not afraid because, of course, we use the chicken card, but because we wanted a lot to play against Furia, you know, we prepared the game. Unlucky we lost because they play better than us. But tomorrow, you know, like it's going to be against a good team again. But for example, M80 is considered a good team. We 7-1 them, so no pressure, you know. We can beat anyone.
Yeah, they can beat anyone. You don't need to be pressured, Milesh.
No, I'm under zero pressure whatsoever. I have my friends here with me. They give me a massage. It's always relaxing.
That's true.
It's good that, you know, I can just relax and take my top off for a round.
What?
No, that's another thing.
You wanna do that on camera? Or?
No, but that means we go to the pool at some point in time. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
it is a victory. Team Secret absolutely smashed through M80.
And do you know what? We maybe set this up that obviously this was two good teams. Both teams knew that they were clearly able to lose against one another. It was pretty well matched. The top teams at this event generally have been playing against the top teams, but I don't think we expected the nature of just how dominant Secret were going to be, Leo.
Yeah, I think in general there was too much movement from M80 in defense. They gave so many people, they gave so many entry engagement to Secret on one side, and then I have to say Secret in perfect control of the pace all the time. Like they literally demolished them whenever they were rushing or whether they were playing slow. In control the whole time.
There's been a lot of conversation this event about mechanics and IQ, and for one, it's not a hot take here when I say I think Mowgli's mechanics far outweigh his game IQ. If Mowgli's saying, I'm just going to stand and wait and I know exactly what you're going to do, then for M80 you're probably doing something a little bit wrong. But yeah, no, you know, Secret have played against some tricky opponents. Brazilians mainly.
Yeah.
They've put in good performances despite the results maybe not going their way, and I think that showed in this game.
For me, this is the biggest story. They use this event with two new members to gain as much experience as possible. They've now played Loud, they've played Liquid, they've played Furia, and they've played M80, and they've beat 3 out of those 4 teams. You know, they're putting up an amazing show. They are not being rewarded with the bullets because Twister is not using the bullets the right way, but that's fine. If they reload everything with the extended mag at around 5 and they beat the team, they will still qualify to main stage. And I will be honest here, they're one of the most deserving team at this tournament after the performance they've showed throughout every single day.
I think Mowgli's playing it a little bit dumb there.
Yeah,
I will be honest.
Twister knows the rule.
With the opponents that Secret have had to face against, playing conservative with your bullet count was always going to be the best way, so you could attack day 5, where you can hopefully get against a team that's not going so hot and play your extended mag. That's exactly what Secret are going to do. The only difference is, I think they won't get to pick their opponent. I think there'll be people on less bullet counts than them, so they'll be getting picked.
Because the middle of the pack is so crowded right now, a difference of 1 or 2 bullets can just shake things up completely. However, Noah is one of the players on Team Secret we've seen really standing up to what's needed here, Leo.
I think one of the biggest thing with this guy, look at the statistic. This is literally throughout the tournament. He's got an EPA score of 121. Incredible KD as well, and also playing not necessarily on the biggest frags. You know, he's been a lot playing Ace, for example. So far, I think he's my best up-and-comer in Europe for last year. He went once again, and I will say this, from stage 1 being the worst rated player in the league to being our best fragger in Europe, or one of the best fragger in Europe. It's incredibly good to see him blossom like this.
And I think what underpins that is having spoken to everybody that has worked with Noah, is his work ethic. He just wants to win, and he will do anything to do that and to improve himself, but also the team. Again, we're seeing it. You know, the proof is in the pudding.
I feel so happy that I can actually be proud of an EU team at round 4 of the tournament.
Actually, Falcons did beat Fearax.
So we're on the up.
We're back.
We're on the up.
We're climbing.
To bring us back
we're
down,
climbing.
But, you know.
Let's take 2 more. We're climbing back.
Right now.
Okay, well, technically, Fabian is leading the charge here in M80, even as a coach. So let's see the status of M80, because much like their previous opponents, Team Secret, they also have an extended MAC card that they can play.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously bullets are the big thing that matters, right? So for M80, they wagered 5. They reloaded 5. They've gone down to 4 now. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to try and target a team that has at least 8 bullet count in the draft show tonight and reload and play the extended mag so that they can get up to 14 plus their 4 would be 18, maybe a couple more.
With Secret only reloading 1 bullet in this matchup and only gaining 1, I actually think that M80 losing this might be good for them to pick a weaker opponent in a critical
they will
round 5.
Get the first.
It might actually be good for them to have lost this, and it could be all part of Fabian's saving strat plan.
Actually, that's
saving struts, saving bullets.
Yeah, you know, it all makes sense.
Anyway, this is exactly why we live for this, because you can theorycraft all day, every day. But we don't have much time for that, because it's time for a blacklight detail for this matchup of the day. Gentlemen, what have you selected?
Well, they had a pre-placed drone. Secret had a pre-placed drone inside Master, and they wanted to control the roam. As soon as they know there is a roamer stuck in Master, triple breach from Office Hatch to go and rush him, and look at what Joom is doing, sacrificing himself with Blackbird, going to go and pitch him. He's pushing this player away, and boom, double free kills, and that's how you get a 5v2. Now look, instant reaction from Mowgli. Let's put the gas tank down, make it explode, burn the staircase, no one can retake. Not only did they be smart with the information, they commit to it, gain 2 kills, and they use the destructible elements of the new CJX to prevent anyone from going up the stairs and refrank.
Secret are one of my favorite teams in all of Rainbow Six Siege to watch play, and the reason for it is very often they will identify, like we've just seen, 1 kill, and it's all 5 without hesitation, and it's just like, oh well, that guy's unlucky because he's getting run down by 5 of them, including a shield.
Well, it's an incredibly fun match that we had here, at least witnessing how Secret are dismantling, how well they're playing, given that there's been so many expectations put on them as dark horses over the past, year and a half now, if not more, different iterations of the squad. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We still have, of course, 2 more games to go. 2 eliminations are also on the line. We'll take a break, but at the end of that, if you ever wanted to see what sort of national team could be built to compete in a hypothetical national Rainbow Six tournament, well, Mr. Alfaman Maria actually went around to ask who would be part of the set teams. Take a look.